Drives me nuts.
You don't like being challenged?
No.
Oh, he's peeing on himself. You better watch out. Ugh. Dude, really? Go there and tell... What? We see you. We see you. Being so naughty lately. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this fella in the background, but he may look a little familiar. While I would love to hoard my bucks, I couldn't pass up that one. He just looked too good. His damn willow looked too good. So we decided we're gonna go ahead and keep him for a season and hopefully let him put some of his genetics that his mother gives along with his daddy that's trying to drive the tractor, and put some of those really easy milkable teats and nice high tight udders on some of my girls that lack that. So I'll have 3 working bucks this year. Got Lovebug, Willie, and Blue. He is all about this being his tractor.
Jeez.
Did you get the bolt?
Yep.
All right, guys, let's back up. Earlier this week, Mark hit a rock while he was trying to bush hog in here and sheared a pin. So it's the moment of truth to see if that PTO is going to turn. It's not hooked up. We were really worried because the PTO was spinning, but it wasn't turning the blade. So we'd hoped that it was a sheared pin, and sure enough it is. So let's see if it's going to fire up the way it's supposed to. Woo! Is it doing it? Yay! We really need to cut this. It's a little overgrown. Okay, today is not a fun day. This is why it's not a good day. It is definitely that time of year where it's like 90 degrees and it's time to do hay. The thing is, I'm bringing you guys in a little late. This is our second load of hay. The first load of hay was like, it was awful. And we've got a runaway goat. Rosie is at her antics again. Just stay away from the buck pen. Rosie, you're not gonna wanna be in here. Rosie, are you gonna help? Are you gonna help? It's gonna get really loud. But you guys can see we've got all of these. And if we go further, you guys can see like probably up in the back corner, yeah. So that's this year's hay. There's like 70 bales up there already. And then this is the hay we had left over from last year. I had 80 bales left over from last year. I don't know how I grossly misjudged. Actually, I do. I always grossly misjudge. I always want to have more than I need rather than get stuck in like a particularly harsh winter and really need a lot more hay than what I've got. Rosie looks so good. She went to the fair with us. Look how pretty she looks. Look how pretty she looks. Come on, baby. These are gloves. Your gloves! Because gloves matter. You guys can tell we've already had issues with our hay elevator. It is super old. It's a really, really old hay elevator. But boy, has it saved our backs. Before we were taking this from like the bed of a truck and tossing them up into the loft. And you can imagine that just made things pretty tough. We've got this chain that runs up and basically these, what are these flaps? Yeah. It pulls these flaps up, and that's what takes the hay up. And early on in our last batch, this chain came off, slipped the track. So Mark was up there and he had to, of course it always happens like right in the middle of everything. So we had to fix that and get it back on the track, but then the chain wasn't calibrated. Again, we had to tighten it. So
it was too loose.
Yeah.
So these flaps are getting caught in different parts, but some of the flaps are loose too. Like,
yeah.
They've replaced them, And they use bolts, and those have gotten.
Yeah, you can see if you really got
Loose
down
over
here
time.
and looked, you would be able to see that there's a lot of different bolts here. But this is just how it goes. You know, we literally, it probably wouldn't even take us like what, 40 minutes to get.
That one's there.
Yeah, he's got one. He's showing you guys how. And that hits this lip down here. You guys can see there's not a whole lot of clearance right here. So when they flip up, if they're loose, they'll catch this and it'll kind of like jerk it and make it slip the track, because it's on a belt system, like right through here. You guys can kind of see through there that there's a belt, but it kept making it shut down and it just never can go smooth. So now we're on our second bit of hay, and Mark's trying to do a couple of different things to make sure that it's not a start and stop, because it's hot enough out here. We're getting a little bit of a cloud cover, but we're supposed to get rain. So everything that's out and on the trailer behind me, which is roughly 52 bales, cannot stay out there. And with bad weather, really the stuff here that's pretty close to the front of our barn can't stay on the ground either. Now we're gonna go ahead and see if Mark can get our hay elevator running flawlessly and get all of this here and here all the way up there. It's like 90 degrees today too with rain tomorrow. So we do not have the luxury of just getting everything in and letting it really sit, or letting it sit on the trailer. It's got to get in. Is it still kicked off?
Yeah, forget.
Oh.
That's deep.
Oh, we've got heat brain today. Let's see if it works. Finding them?
Problem is, these that have rivets, I'm just going to have to cut off and replace with bolts, I think.
Yeah.
But they're just worn out over time. But they're not as loose as these that they replaced. Free sponsorship for Leatherman Skeletal. Thing saved my butt several times. I love this thing. Fits in a pocket easy. Has a little screwdriver, knife, everything I needed.
That's part of your EDC, your everyday carry.
Yeah, if I remember it. Just can't get a good grab on this end.
Oh, that sound. Anybody else's teeth gritting hearing that metal?
Yeah.
It just makes my teeth hurt.
That bolt's pretty steep. So I think what we're going to do is take off, because this one we took off because one of the bolts fell out, and we noticed the hay bales actually sit in there better. And if you can see, they sit up against the conveyor bottom pretty tight.
So we're thinking like between this one that well, we've actually got a track missing, but if you started right there, we take off those two. I'd like to take off those two.
But they're so tight too that it looks like they were used for grain,
It
possibly,
probably was
or
used for
corn cobs
grain.
or something. Take them up.
It's done. At the end, the stacking is not pretty. It's a little all over the place. Well, we also started getting pressed for room. Had a couple hay bales break, which kind of always throws it off, because I always try to work forward to where I've got like a small area, but sometimes sometimes the hay elevator mangles them, sometimes they're just not strong tight. It is what it is. We're okay. How you feel, babe?
I quit.
I quit.
We're done now.
Yeah, we are done. We can quit now. All right guys, I'm coming back because we officially got everything in the barn before it rained. But I got to come back to my garden again, and I just wanted to, I've got, can you guys see this right here? Can you see that right there? I've already got goldfinches in here, and I just caught them taking some seeds, but guys, look, okay, so this doesn't do, look how tall they are. There are Mongolian giant sunflowers in here, so I'm really excited to see how this starts to adjust. But you guys I did not, last year I kind of went from small to big in kind of like a pyramid formation with my sunflowers. This year I just kind of threw everything in, and I said whatever blooms is gonna bloom, and whatever doesn't bloom, I'll never miss it because it won't bloom. So you guys can see, like, I've got all these little ones, and then just, this does no justice, like seriously, no joke. This one's got to be at least 8-10 feet tall. And then my balsam, guys, look. So it was gorgeous before, but now look at all of this. Look, it pops, and then you've got the ones, so they kind of started out pink, like down here, and then you get some dark reds like this, and then that pink goes out into a vibrant white and red, and the buckwheat's just getting so tall. You guys can see the amaranth like way down there, but this celosia is getting bigger, and then look, some of the like the really fiery looking stuff, and then the zinnias. Just, oh, I've been waiting for these, guys. I've been waiting for these. I really wasn't sure if that specific type was gonna bloom. It's like green and light pink. I think it's like queen lime or queen strawberry lime. This is what it is right here, because I'm not going to be able to recall it right at the moment, but I've been waiting for those to bloom because they're so unique. They look so different, and my favorite colors are green and pink and purple, and they kind of like incorporate all of that. It's like just a soft painting. It kind of reminds me of like sunrises and sunsets, and forgive me, this part of my garden is weedy. It's super weedy, but I bet you guys cannot wait to see the next garden tour. It's going to be the worst garden tour on YouTube. Stay tuned. So even though we got all of our hay done, that doesn't mean that the everyday chores ever stop around here. It's time to go milk. Are you guys patiently waiting? Willow and Rapunzel and Pinky? So right now we're actually milking, I think it's 8 or 9 does. I've kind of lost count. So let's go ahead and get these ladies in. You guys keep count for me. I'll see how many does we milk. But right now we're on 1-a-day milkings, and these ladies are hungry. They're ready to go. And we've also got our herbal dewormer because it's Sunday. Sunday is dewormer day. Well, sometimes I don't cry over spilt milk, sometimes I do. This is what happens when you've got more than one doe milking, and they all know this is feed time. They both came in here, hit my bucket of milk that I just started milking, and my pail of soapy water to wash udders. So I guess we're officially gonna stop counting how many goats I'm milking today, because the answer is too many. Well guys, I think that's gonna do it. It has been a heck of a weekend. We've done hay, it's been hot and humid, which is how hay always goes on the farm. And we got to mess around with some of the animals, and I got to show you guys some updates and give you a couple of teasers for the episodes that are going to be coming. So make sure that you guys stick around, and remember, drop down in the comments, what's your favorite part about this episode? What did you like seeing the best? And if you found yourself really enjoying us and you've just stumbled upon our channel, think about dropping us a like and subscribing. But if you subscribe, make sure that you ding the notification bell so that you don't miss anything going on here at Mulberry Ranch Farm. But in the meantime, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed the time that you spent with us today. I know I sure did. And until next time, make sure that you're being safe out there and being kind to one another. Bye, y'all.